Hi, it's a little early this morning. It's not 8 o'clock yet. That's not really early. But I've been outside doing chickens and then I get distracted with plants. I need to show you all my potted plants I have going this year. It must be an old lady thing. When you're pushing 60, you start doing potted plants. Is that true? Is that a thing? Anyway, I was watching a little video on YouTube, as you do, because I love herbs, as you may know, and a lady was talking about lemon balm and how beneficial it is. So I'm going to make myself a little pot of just lemon balm tea, if you want to call that. I'm going to pick all the leaves off of. I have a nice, not a huge crop of lemon balm. I took my old herb bed out of commission a couple years ago. And that's where I had so much lemon balm. It was quite happy. And I put everything into my new herb bed. I don't know if I've got a video on that or not. Maybe I do. If I do, I'll link it up there. Anyway, I'm picking lemon balm leaves off. Now it looks like this. I'm assuming maybe I don't want the stalk in my tea. I don't know. Anyway, the lemon balm really didn't. It was so healthy. I started digging up and putting it in all different places. I put it over on the other side of the house in full shade behind our trash bin. And that's where it has thrived. That's where this came from, which is not where lemon balm is supposed to thrive. It's supposed to want lots of sun. I did put some in my new herb bed, and it has not done very well there. Don't know why. It is coming back this year. I'm hoping it will recover. I might have to show you that herb bed. I have a huge mound of oregano. It's been there in that spot for a number of years, and it's very happy. It is massive. It is taking over. I had comfrey. I had put my one comfrey plant I bought as an experiment into the corner next to the oregano because that was the only spot I had for it at that time. All the other herbs were quite thriving in the new bed. So I stuck it in that corner, and it did very well last year. That was its first year. I made some comfrey salve. So about a week ago, I guess, I decided to move it where it would have more room. I've heard that comfrey is very dominating, but I don't think it stood a chance next to that oregano. This is a lot of leaves. I want a nice strong tea of this morning. This lady says this is good for spasms, and I have esophageal spasms. So I'm hoping maybe this will. I feel really good in the morning, though. That's not my bad time of day. Anyway, so I moved the comfrey, and it immediately wilted and turned over on its belly and said, "I'm dead," you know. Well, it wasn't, but it just didn't like being moved. So it is recovering. It's blooming now, but it's still not what it was in its old location. But plants take time. They don't like change any more than we do. So, oh, in case you're wondering, I have you propped up against some boxes, a box of raisins, box of chicken broth, and some baking soda up on the shelf. I was just too lazy to go get my camera stand. Okay, this is the last twig of lemon balm. And you can hear the water starting to squeal a little bit. I don't want it real hot. I want it blisteringly hot, I don't think. I think I just want it warm enough to drink. I'm not going to put any sugar in it, of course, no cream. I'm just going to drink this straight and see what I think about it and see if it kind of calms down this part of my, my esophagus, my sphincter, sternum area, my upper stomach, that kind of stuff. Okay, it's just barely starting to steam. So here we go. Now that I'm done with my outside chores this morning, my first thing chores, I'm going to go back and I'm going to take off this barn coat. I'm going to go back in the bedroom, sit down in front of my laptop. I'll watch yesterday's video from, oh, there's one more leaf. Whoop. From Kate Jackson. Watch the latest video from Abby over at, oh dear, what's the name of her chateau? She's a doll. Her dog's been sick. I'll watch her video from last night. I saved them from yesterday so that I could have something to watch today. I have about a half dozen chateau YouTube channels I watch. Maybe I should link them down in the bottom. That's a possibility. If you love houses and you love watching people do things you could never do, there's this one lady, I don't know her channel name either off the top of my head. I haven't been watching her very long, and she's like my age. She looks like she's at least 60, but she has so much energy and enthusiasm for her project, and she has bought it's not a massive chateau. It's a large French farmhouse, but I guess more like a chateau. At least 3 stories. Anyway, she's fixing it up. I like watching her because she's doing the thing I couldn't do. I could barely handle an 1,100 square foot house. All right, I'm going to go sip my tea. I don't know what else is going to be on this video. I have no idea. I'll just save this for later. Maybe I'll get some of these itty bitty leaves that are left on there. All right, see you later. It's a little bit later. I did have some of the lemon balm tea when it was hot, just a little bit, and I've waited till the whole pot has cooled down. Now it's the color is very pale. The flavor is just a very mild, lovely lemony flavor. It's not sweet or anything, so I can't say it's delicious, but it was nice to have in the morning. It's probably a gentle way to get your system going. Now I'm moving on to a big cup of coffee and some toast. These are old roses on the side, either side of our front porch from the previous owners, and they've been straggly and ugly for quite a number of years, but this year they have just decided to bloom like crazy. They are gorgeous, really gorgeous. I'm enjoying them so much. I need to pick out those dandelions though. Hello. I want to show you a picture I've been working on for about the last 3 days. I know I've worked on it for 3 days. I may have taken a day off or something in the middle, but it is a practice in negative painting. And I've never done this kind of negative painting before, where you do it in layers. And it's very time consuming, but the effect is so gorgeous, and I've been fascinated with this technique for a while. So here's what it looks like. I'm finished, and I'm about to take the tape off from around the outside. So let's do that. And this was painted with a lot of blue tones, getting darker with each layer. I think there ended up being about 4 layers, I think is right. You can see the very first layer on some of these lighter, and then you go in and you do 1 layer that's all solid, and you sketch in some flowers. I decided to I used a watercolor pencil. Well, the first time I used a regular 0.7 pencil, but I didn't like having those lines left over, and my kneaded eraser was all dried up, so I couldn't use it to take the lines off. So I used this for 2 layers, and then the last layer, what did I do with it? I used a silver. There it is. I used a silver watercolor. I think I like that better than the dark blue. I think it shows less. So let's see if we can get the tape off. Should leave a nice little line around the outside. The larger paintings I've done before were really not this time consuming. That's taking some of the paper off along the very edge. That gave me a pretty good sharp edge. Yeah, there we go. So I'm pretty pleased with that, and I'll be getting a really good scan of that and having some cards made, and then I'll sell. Well, it may keep the original or I may sell it. We'll see. Anyway, there it is. Oh, I will attach a little iCard up here with the video from the girl that I, especially for the first layer or so, I really used her video until I got the hang of it. And I'll put that up there, and I want to thank her for the inspiration and the help. Hey folks, I thought that really quick before I post this video, I would just give you a quick look at the potted plants that I do have on my back deck. I'm not a really big potted plant person previously in my life, but this year for some reason I'm going for it. So let's look at what I've got, and some of them I don't know what they are, and if you know what they are, please tell me. I'd like to have a name. Now I got these three, probably at least a month ago. These are pansies, right? Yeah, pansies, I think so. Whatever they are. Anyway, and I have been deadheading them, and then they just come back and back. They've been a joy. I got these two. Now this is a calantia. I remember that. And I like the look of this. Now I got, a lot of these are rescue plants from Walmart. They're in the clearance section and they just look terrible. But these I think were not, because I got them early. And this is called a Lithidora. That's what this is. And I'm trying to pinch off its little dead blooms, and it keeps blooming. So that's lovely. And I love the combination of those two in this pretty pot that I bought at the nursery. A very dear friend gave me this. The variety is called Blew My Mind, but it is a dwarf morning glory, the little tag says. And I got this cheapo plastic pot at Walmart, and I'm hoping it'll fill it up. Now these next two are rescue plants, and they've done really well. They're continuing to bloom. I'm trying to pinch off the little dead things, but it's hard because they're teeny. And I think it's some kind of a phlox. Again, this is a very nice pot I got at the nursery, and this is a cheap pot I got at Dollar General. So they all work. I don't think the plants really care. Here is another Lithidora. I kind of went crazy on the Lithidora. And then these are, oh, listen to the birds. Don't know what kind of bird that is either. This is some Elaeagnus that we have out in the front of our property. And I had these in a little flower arrangement for church. And I decided to leave them in their water and see if they would root. This one has kept some green leaf, which makes me wonder if it's got some roots. I'm just going to wait, see what it does. Not bothering me sitting there. So we'll see if I get another Elaeagnus out of it, because they were like 25 bucks a piece or something, maybe more than that. And then I got my 3 lavender, and they're looking pretty happy right now. One of them died over the winter, I think because I covered it up too much. My favorite nursery lady locally told me that they really don't like to be covered up and kept warm in our winters here, so I won't do that in the future. Now this big pot, I don't know what this is. I got it pretty early on. I am deadheading it, and it's continuing to bloom. You can see all the ones I've snipped off with my fingers. I don't know what this is. It's a creeping something. If you know what that is, would you tell me? It was not a clearance plant, but it looked so happy and wasn't very expensive, and I think it will start to spill over. This was something on clearance, and I don't think it made it. I don't know what it was. I'm just going to leave it there. You never know. Plants have a way of surprising you. Okay, let's go look on the other side. So this is our ramp on our back deck, and all these plants are facing east into the, as you see, the morning sun's behind me. So they get morning sun. These ones are underneath our little tarp, but they get sun in the morning. Something told me that calantia would not want to be in a lot of hot sun. I know that the morning glory likes full sun. And I know that the lavender do. But some of these, as we go into our really hot summer, may want to come in the shade. This is my creeping, oh dear, I forget what it's called. It's not wandering, it's creeping ivy, something, that's not right, whatever it is. Anyway, I've had that for, man, 20 or 30 years. It's the thing that's taken over the front porch. Here is a little geranium that my mother gave me. And it survived over the winter on my back porch. And it seems to be looking okay this year. So I'm happy about that. I had some old little garden fencing in the potting shed that I'd forgotten about. And my chickens were getting into this bed. And I was afraid they were going to dig up my hostas. Or already had dug them up. So I really like this. It's tall enough that they really don't want to jump over that. I think they're afraid they'll catch their feet. This is my huge lantana that will become massive. You've seen this before. Little hosta, big hosta, developing hosta, and another developing hosta. They'll all three be as big as that middle one and bigger. And I'm hoping they get afternoon shade from the lantana because, boy, it's a scorcher here. I tried to put in this little fencing, little bowed fencing before I realized I had this. This is willow that I cut, and you see what it's doing. Willow roots here so easily that this little fence is becoming alive. I'm just going to keep snipping it back, and if it wants to grow and be knee-high, that's fine with me. My lantana is really spreading out on some of these runners it puts out. There's some right there next to that hosta that's also started up. Now, I brought you out here to show you 6 more of the Lithidora. Now, the tag said it liked full sun. It will get lots of afternoon sun here, but we'll see how it does. They were $2 each. You can't complain about that. There's a hellebore back there that is still blooming like crazy. Another hosta, another hosta. Some ferns that survived my chickens last year. And a little baby hosta right there. And all of these are underneath the shade of my Japanese magnolia tree. And so I think that they do fine pretty well. I cut out some of the branches that were in front of the Lithidora, but I like to keep this stuff in shade if I can. And then the rest of this bed is full of bulbs and elephant ears that are coming up, but it's full of weeds too, and it just needs work. I need to get out here, and I did this last year, work at it a little at a time. So there's an itty bitty fern over there, a painted lady fern. All right, well, this is for those of you who are not into spinning and weaving, but like plants. I thought I would, I'd give you a little variety in your diet. Oh, and pertaining to the lemon balm, ignore the trash can. Just ignore it. This is this nasty little bed back behind the trash cans. This is where I put, because I had nowhere else to put it, I put some lemon balm back here. And it's 1, 2, 3, doing really well. I've also got some vinca back here. You can see the dark vinca. Actually, it's coming out here. And I've got lots of daffodil bulbs that don't do great back here, but they do okay. I've got some Virginia creeper coming up the house wall. So this is where the lemon balm is coming from this year at least.